Hello and welcome. This show is all about what everybody says is so important: money. More importantly, the lack of it. We have governments all around the world, and particularly for us in our cities, in Ontario, in our provinces, in our country, saying, we need more of your money because we're spending more of your money. And some people say, well, if you need more money, stop spending on the silly things. Oh, no, the services. Jay Goldberg joins me right now because he knows all about this. And let's just start off with the PBO, the Parliamentary Budget Officer. Now, he is an officer who reports to Parliament.
Yes.
Not to the government. And he looks at the finances. And it was a position created some years ago because Canadians didn't feel that they're getting the real goods from the Minister of Finance or from the government. They wanted someone to give them the, let me put it this way, Jay, the unvarnished truth about finances. And so the PBO had a few words to say recently about Canada's finances. And so you're the financial guy. Tell us what he had to say.
It's not good. It's not good. I don't think anyone's going to be surprised by this. We've had organizations, C.D. Howe Institute, predicting a deficit this year of up to $90 billion or more. The Parliamentary Budget Officer is being a little more generous. We're looking at a budget deficit of almost $69 billion. But that's before you factor in a lot of the Liberal campaign promises in the last election that they haven't actually enacted yet. So it's quite possible that when Finance Minister François-Philippe Champagne presents his budget in November, it could be a lot worse than what the PBO is projecting for this year. But on top of that, we're looking at deficits above $60 billion for the next 5 years. You're looking at debt interest payments exploding somewhere towards $100 billion a year. It is not a pretty picture. And he's warning, Jason Jacques, the Parliamentary Budget Officer, is warning that we are basically looking over a fiscal cliff right now. And if we don't rein it in, we're going to face some really serious problems.
So what? What serious problems? I mean, we just maybe print more money or we hope that things get better. It's true, is it not, that we pay more in interest payments every year than we pay in healthcare?
We pay more in interest payments than we do in healthcare. We pay more in interest payments than we bring in through the GST. So you could have no federal sales tax right now if we didn't have these debt interest payments to deal with. But as we saw in the 1990s...
Mr. Trudeau, our former leader, said it's all going to fix itself.
Yeah, the budget's going to balance itself. Well, it's 10 years later. The budget didn't balance itself. We've been running deficits for over 10 years, closer to 15 years. And, you know, the chickens are finally coming home to roost.
How will that happen, Jay? When you say they're coming home to roost, I mean, is someone going to, if this was a mortgage, for instance, on your house, and you had such a high mortgage that you couldn't pay it anymore, the bank or whoever the lender is going to come along and seize your house. You're out. This is our house. Is someone going to come along and say, this is our Canada now?
Well, you remember back in the 1990s where it just got to a situation where credit ratings were being downgraded and the money that was being spent on debt interest was just exponentially large, that there just wasn't enough money there to spend on programs like healthcare, like education, the transfers to the provinces that go with that. And so what we're facing as a potential situation when you start to spend 70, 80, 90, $100 billion a year just on debt interest is that it starts to crowd out a lot of your other priorities. And ultimately, if your credit rating starts to get downgraded, the debt interest becomes even more expensive. And so I think when the PBO is saying that we're facing a financial cliff, they're saying perhaps not this year, not next year, but if we continue down this path for another few years, we are going to hit that cliff. We're going to hit that edge.
So we'll have to sell off Newfoundland to somebody for PEI?
Well, I don't know if we're going to have to be selling off provinces, but we are going to have to face steep cuts and significant tax increases. And that's what they're warning about. If we don't do something now with modest corrections, we're going to have severe corrections down the line.
Well, Jay, are you telling me that that very valuable program I learned about the other day, which cost Canadian taxpayers $8 million for genetically neutral rice in Vietnam, they may have to cut that?
They may have to cut that. They may have to look at the extra 100,000 government employees that are now employed by the federal government compared to 2015. The Prime Minister says he's going to look at attrition. We need a lot more than that. You've got to fire a whole lot of workers to get down to a number that's sustainable.
But this prime minister is a business person. He is a person who's supposed to save us all from this. More on that in just a second. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to find out whether, in fact, we're going to go over the cliff or not. Jay will tell us.